Hey guys, it's Presley and welcome back to Cool Conversations. Today I am so excited. I am joined by Shay Rudolph.
Yay!
I am so excited. We have literally been trying to do this for so long and it's finally happening. I am so excited. So do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself if they don't know you already?
Yes. I'm Shay Rudolph. I'm an actress. You might know me from the Babysitters Club. I played Stacey McGill, and I'm super excited to be here.
Yay, I am so excited. So we first met, we actually met really in a random way.
Yeah.
We met, how long ago do you think that was at this point?
Oh my God. Probably
Over
3 years ago. Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago. We met at a spa. We met at the spa in San Diego because we were both there with Girls Life.
Yes.
And but they didn't let us go together. We weren't there together.
I know. I totally thought we were going to be there at the same
Me too.
time.
I was like, oh my gosh, so fun. This is
Yeah.
going to be so much fun.
But there's a little bit of overlap.
We got to hang out for a solid 15 minutes and do a tour of the spa. But yeah, and then after that, I feel like we didn't see each other for a while. But recently, because you've been
then we did the acting class together too, which I was thinking about this morning. I was like, I totally forgot that we did that. But that was all on Zoom, so it felt a little different. But that was a solid year.
I forgot about this. This is also so many random connections I feel like we had. But it's recently I feel like we've seen each other a lot more. And
yes,
it's been
which has been really awesome.
So fun. Okay, so but before that, I watched Babysitter's Club, by the way.
And
that's
I watched Mom's Obby.
Because I was after I watched it, I love the show, by the way. It was literally my favorite, and I was like, they're all so cute. Let me follow them on Instagram. And then I remember I followed your eyeliner tutorial. This is so random.
Stop. And it was the worst eyeliner tutorial ever, by the way. The gapping was insane. I need to redo one because now I actually know how to do eyeliner.
Oh, that was in my I had a phase. I had an eyeliner phase of the thick black liner. But I was I remember vividly remember following your eyeliner tutorial because I was I want my wing to look like that. And I was
I'm honored.
It's so. Anyways, this is a little side story of how we met. But
yes,
back into, obviously, you're an actress. So we all know you from the Babysitters Club, but what has been your favorite role to play other than that?
Okay. I mean, my answer is Stacey.
Yes.
She was really fun to play. And also it was such an incredible experience to have that be my first huge thing to take on. I feel so lucky that I had a set experience that was so women empowered and everybody was so incredible. It was such a great learning experience. And then aside from that, I really loved working on the movie that I did a couple years ago, The Present. That was a really fun experience. And that was my first time working as a legal adult. I wasn't on set alone, but I got to work the full 12, 13-hour days. I didn't have to do school, which really changes the vibe.
Yeah.
So that was really, really fun. And then now I've been doing a couple other things. I just did a short film at the beginning of the year, which was also an incredible experience. I feel like I've been really, really lucky with the things that I've done for work. They've all been great sets, which I know isn't always the case.
That's so yeah.
Literally everything.
That's so amazing. And I obviously on the Babysitters Club you got to play such an important role as well. So what was it like stepping into a character that obviously meant a lot to a lot of people because growing up, people reading the books, that was obviously a very important character for people.
It was really crazy, and I don't think it hit me until the show was coming out. I mean, when we were filming the first season, everything was really under wraps. We were kind of all realizing oh shoot, this is a really big deal. Netflix is keeping it all a secret. We're not even allowed to tell our friends at home.
It's crazy.
This has to mean that it's a big thing. And then it came out and the show started gaining a lot of traction, and I started kind of also getting traction online on social media. And so obviously when that was first happening, I would read all the DMs that were sent to me, every single comment. And there were so many from a lot of young girls right around my age that were saying that they loved the show. It was inspiring them to be an actress or inspiring them to go make their own Babysitters Club at school and make new friends and all these things. And that's when it hit me that the show really had a huge impact on other people and their actual lives.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy, guys. You really don't realize the impact that it could have on people because it feels so not really real until it actually
feels
happens.
Really distant. And the show came out right when COVID was happening, which I think also added to this disconnect with the reality of it, because even all the the press tours that we did were on Zoom. Like,
which
we
is
weren't traveling for press,
crazy.
which is so different. And then all the promo videos, like, I was doing it in my bedroom just with a little ring light and my phone. So, like, totally different vibe. And it took me a little bit longer to, like, really soak in the fact that it was happening. I was on a Netflix show. People were watching it. People cared about, like, what I had to say. Yeah, it was weird.
It's an insane feeling. And I don't know if, like, it ever really fully sinks in.
Yeah, that
like,
too.
Like, ever. Because people, like, will always, because I feel so, like, normal all the time. And I'm like, I just don't, like, ever really, like, think it, like, fully hits. So I don't know. Like, I remember when Dance Moms first came out, I was like, oh, like, okay. Like,
yeah,
it was
it's
like,
just a thing.
I was like, okay, like, this is, like, but then when you start to, like, hear it from other people, it, like, completely changes your perspective on literally everything.
It's especially meeting people in real life that have seen it. That's
Crazy.
What gets me. Like, I'll be at school or something, and someone will say, oh my God, are you that actress from the Babysitters Club? And it blows my mind that someone my age that's just, like, down the hall from me knows who I am. And we pass by each other every day, but, like, they know. Yeah. It's just insane.
It's a weird feeling for sure. But it's just, like, I don't know. I think that it's also so special that you can, like, touch the lives of so many people with, like, doing what you love.
Yeah.
For sure. But, okay, so now, like, thinking about, like, roles in the future, like, what's, like, a genre or, like, kind of, like, a role you would, like, love to step into?
I would love to do a horror movie.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm such a big fan of horror in real life, which I feel like is something that I don't really share online. Like, I never post about horror movies or anything like that, but it's a massive love of mine. I think definitely due to my mom. She loves horror.
Really?
So, like, I grew up watching horror movies. My sister always hated them. And so my mom was like, okay, I have to have one kid that will watch them with me. And that was me. I watched Coraline at, like, 7 years old.
No,
and loved it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then I watched The Shining at, like, 10.
No,
loved it. So definitely a horror movie one day. That would be so cool.
Yeah. I feel like filming a horror movie would just be so sick. Like,
it'd be awesome. Because also it wouldn't be scary.
Right.
Like, there's would be hundreds of people on set, so you're like, okay, I know I'm not about to get, like, actually kidnapped, or a monster's not about to actually eat me, it's fake. So
that would be so cool, honestly. I just think that would be, like, such an awesome experience and so different from literally, like, anything else.
Yeah, I think I want to do something that's, like, a really specific, crazy genre and just totally dive into that, like, fantasy even.
Like, that would be so cool. So cool, for sure. Okay, so now, obviously, you said you're in school, but you're still obviously doing everything with acting. So how does balancing that look for you? Because I know it can be a lot to juggle.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is a lot sometimes, and there are definitely sacrifices that have to be made. I was just talking to my sister on the phone about this because she's, like, balancing multiple jobs and school and life and everything, and she was like, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know whether to give up my workout routine in the morning or, like, socializing and stuff like that. And it kind of made me think about how I balance it, and I've gotten into this place of, like, it being just second nature for me to prioritize auditions over anything else. Like, I will fit into my schedule no matter what. I will get it done because I care about it so much. But then because of that, sometimes I do have to say no to, like, a hangout with my friends that's been planned for weeks that I've been really looking forward to. And that sucks also, but you have to decide what you care about more in the moment. And also for me, it helps to remind myself, like, my friends will always be there. Those are connections that I've built and, like, are stable. So I can hang out with them tomorrow. Even, like, we can reschedule. But something like this, where it's an opportunity that's given to you for just a short amount of time, you really have to just, like, seize that moment. For sure. And it's a lot, but I've gotten used to it. So I think it's just second nature now.
Yeah, and I also feel like doing it from, like, a younger age, it kind of just, like, becomes you just kind of understand how to, like, balance it all. And I think that the friend thing is, like, so true because also, like, your friends support what you do. So they totally understand. And I feel like that's, like, I'm the same way where I'm like, I always feel so bad about it.
I feel
horrible. Like, it's like 30 minutes before and I'm like, hey guys,
I can't go anymore.
I don't know about this. I totally get it. It's a lot, like, especially I feel like with school, especially now because you're in college, like, how is, like, it been different being in college versus high school doing all of this? Like, has it kind of, like, changed for you, or is it similar?
It's both. Like, similar in a lot of ways because I went to an independent study school, so my schedule was a little bit more similar, where I only went to school a couple days a week, had, like, one of each class a week, which is more the college style. But in high school, there was a lot more flexibility with assignments and turn-in dates. I could ask for extensions because And my teachers had known me for years. I had the same teachers, like, all through high school pretty much, just for different classes. And so they'd be like, yeah, I know you're an actor. I know you're doing so much. Like, sure, turn it in next week instead.
Yeah.
But now in college, it's really strict. You have to get stuff in on time or else your grade does drop. And my attendance policy is really strict. Like, I can't miss more than 2 classes or else I'll fail the class.
Crazy.
Like, it's really intense. And so the stakes are a little bit higher with balancing the two. So, like, maybe before I would have been able to put acting up here and school down here just for a second instead of, like, the opposite. Right. But now they kind of have to be at the same level all the time. Yeah. So, like, there are other things that get sacrificed, like sleep, maybe. I'll stay up till midnight, like, doing assignments because I had an audition earlier in the day and couldn't do it before. But, you know, you just have to get it all done. Yeah. There's no option.
Yeah. You just make it work because you just have to. So now, like, thinking, like, back, like, when do you think you really realized that, like, acting is really what you wanted to pursue? Like, was this, like, something that you've done since you were younger or something that you, like, kind of found a love for, like later on?
I definitely, like, fell into it and found my love for it. It wasn't something that I dreamed about doing as a career when I was, like, 5 years old. I literally went through every other career in my head. I was like, I'm going to be a zoologist, I'm going to be an astronaut, this and that. And then acting kind of started happening for me. And once I was getting onto sets at, like, 11, 12, I realized that it was really, really fun. And it also kind of hit me that, like, everybody would be super surprised at how long the days were, but they didn't feel that long for me. So I'd say, yeah, I was on set for 10 hours, and people would be like, what? Like, aren't you so exhausted? But it gave me life. Yeah. And so once I kind of had that comparison where other people, like, said, oh my God, I could never do that, but I loved it, I realized that's what I really wanted to do. And then also kind of similarly, like, after the Babysitters Club came out and it was COVID and I was just, like, sitting around at home doing auditions and, like, really putting in so much extra time to acting and the craft and diving deep into, like, character study and all that stuff, I realized that, like, I could do that forever and ever.
That's so awesome. And I feel like that's such a good point. Like, when, like, people are like, oh, like, it's like so many hours or whatever, but you don't even, like, think about it like that in your head. Like, that's when you really know that it's, like, something that you're so passionate about. Like, I honestly never really thought about that because I feel like that's the same way, like, I grew up kind of with dance.
Totally.
Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I dance like 40 hours a week, and people are like, huh?
That's insane.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's not really like that normal, but it just it gives you life. That's such a good point. So obviously, like, acting, I feel like probably has helped you, like, kind of, like, find yourself with everything. And I feel like a lot of people aren't, like, as lucky where they don't really kind of, like, know what they want to do, or, like, they're still trying to, like, figure it out for themselves. So, like, what would be, like, your piece of advice to someone that's trying to, like, kind of figure out what they're, like, fully passionate about, or, like, what they want to do?
I kind of feel like we just said it. Like, find the thing that gives you life and that you feel like you could do day in and day out without getting tired of it. And I feel like I'm very lucky, like you said, to have figured that out at an early age and be, like, going full force with it at this point in my life. But it's okay if it comes a little bit later. Like, maybe you're in college in a major that you don't love, but you have a hobby that you're really passionate about. Figure out a way to have that be part of your work too. Like, there's a way to do that. You don't have to just go into, like, a corporate job that you hate because you think that's the way things are supposed to be. If you love creative things, go for that. And I also feel like as a teenager, like, if you're around this age, there's a lot of pressure to make those decisions for the path that you're going to be on for the rest of your life. But now is the time to try new things and figure it out. 100%. And, like, there aren't as high of stakes. You probably, like, aren't really paying your rent or paying crazy bills. Like, you can take those risks. You can do crazy different things and really take the time to figure out what you actually love.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, like, trying new things is so huge, especially, like, when you're this age. Like, try it while you can, because not saying that you can't once you get older and, like, try new things, but, like,
it's a little scarier.
It's definitely a little scarier. The stakes are probably a little bit higher. I mean, like, I'm assuming so. But, like, I don't know. I just think that, like, when you're young, you have, like, you're just so lucky to be able to like, try so many things. Like, even, like, I feel like with sports, like, when you're younger, like, I feel like you're always in, like, a million different sports to kind of, like, figure out what you want to do. Like, I know I, like, played soccer for I don't even know, a couple months, and I was like, I'm out of here. I was like,
I played tennis for, like, a year.
Wait, that's kind of cute though.
That was, like, the only sport I did. I mean, I did ballet for a while, but I was like, let me try a real sport. Didn't work.
No.
Flying balls coming at me, like, I just
tennis is hard. I tried it at Calavie when we went And I was like, everybody was so good, first of all.
Really?
And yes. Everybody there plays tennis.
I would die.
And I was like,
I can
guys,
maybe hit a ball like twice back and forth, but that's it.
That's it. But do you know what I really like? Pickleball.
Pickleball's so fun.
It is so
Yeah, it's tennis
fun.
but easier.
Yes, it's like I call it like big ping pong.
Big ping pong.
Like,
I love
that's
that.
kind of what
Yes.
it's like. It's so
It
fun.
is.
But no, yeah, sports was never really my thing. Like I was like a soccer girl for a couple months, and then I was like, no, not for me. But I did like cheer and stuff, and I always tried different things because I never really knew. But I always feel like I ended up back where I like at dance or like at something else.
That too, the thing that you come back to over and over, like that's your thing.
That's how you know. Like if you like are doing something else and you're like, no, like I think I really want to like try like go back to this, then you kind of just like know that's what it is. Okay, so now like kind of thinking about the people that you surround yourself with, do you think that that's also helped you like find what you're passionate about or like find yourself? Like do you think that that's like important to like surround yourself with people that inspire you in like ways like that? I mean, I think we all know the answer to that question.
Yeah, absolutely. Like literally 1,000,000%. I always say to people like the people that I'm friends with are people that I would be happy to wake up one day as. They're people that I think are incredible. I really admire them. They inspire me all around, like not just even creatively or with the things that our interests align with, but just like who they are at their core. They're all really kind, really smart, really funny. Like I just love the people that I surround myself with, because I also think that the people in your life rub off on you. So if you're around people that you don't even like, you're going to turn into a version of yourself that you don't like and don't recognize.
100%. And I feel like that happens kind of to everyone. I feel like that has to happen to you at one point. Like
yeah, it does.
That literally happened to me recently, and I was like, no. And you don't even realize that it's happening until like you're kind of on like the other side of it. But like looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's actually like, I always like have said like, yeah, you are who you surround yourself with, but I don't think I ever really like listened to it. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually so true, because I'm like, I'll see like old like videos of myself, and just like the way that I would like approach situations was so different just based off of like that one person that was in my circle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually crazy.
It's really crazy.
It's insane. Like who you surround yourself with is so important. And like you always want to be like inspired and like uplifted by people, and not like the other way. Like I saw this thing on TikTok like this is where I get all my information. But it's so true. This girl was like, you know, it's kind of like take like a bowl of strawberries, and like if one strawberry is moldy, it like rubs off, and like the mold spreads to like literally like everyone, and you're just there
exactly
by association. Like you don't have the molds, but somebody else
but now
does
you're moldy
because of the person you're I was like, oh my gosh, preach. Like that TikTok always knows what I need to hear.
They always know.
I'm like, why are you reading?
I feel like they're in my brain a little bit.
It's kind of
sometimes scary, but also I'm getting the advice I need, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I needed to hear that, so it's fine. I'll just let it slide. But I'm like, how do you know? I know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But, okay, how do you balance being then inspired by the people that you're around, but also staying true to, like, who you are? Because obviously, like, I feel like for some people, like, yes, you surround yourself with great people, but it can fall into comparison sometimes. And I feel like that's also really hard and what people struggle with. So how do you kind of, like, keep the balance of, like, inspiration versus, like, comparison?
Honestly, I sometimes still struggle with it. I feel like there's a very fine line between becoming a version of yourself that you feel like aligns with your friends, like we're just talking about now, and then also trying to be them or like comparing yourself, like you were saying. And I don't know that I fully have the answer to it, because again, I still do it sometimes, like especially when it comes to creative endeavors. Like a lot of my friends and I will make projects together, we'll write something together, and obviously I'm super inspired by them, but then it gets into that point of jealousy where I'm like, gosh, I wish I wrote like that. They're so funny and good at this. Or like, I wish I could do that easily. Yeah. But I think what I try to do is just when I catch myself having those thoughts, I pause it and I rewind and I go, whoa, girl, like, why are you being jealous of your literal best friend?
Yeah.
And also, we've had so many conversations where they voice that they feel the same way about you. Like, you don't need to be jealous. It can be a healthy relationship where you can use each other to, like, push each other up and make you more confident in your skills instead of having to compare and feel less than. Yeah. So it's really just like reframing your thoughts as they come, because there's no way you're not going to have those thoughts. That's just like a natural part of being a human and a friend and going through life. So just stopping them when they come and like rewording.
Yeah. 100%.
That, I don't know if it fully works, but that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I think, and again, like you said, like it happens to literally everyone. It's just, it always does. And I feel like, using it as like almost like motivation to like want to be better. Like I think instead of like being like, oh, I wish that I was like this, like being like, okay, well, no, like maybe like let me put more time into this or this and like try and like grow and like be better, and just like, use it as a motivation, I think, instead. And like also realize like you said, like they're also probably thinking like the exact same thing about you, which is crazy because like I feel like you always think like even like the most like confident, comfortable person in like their own like who they are, they also like have like the insecurities, and they're always like comparing themselves as well. So like, you know, nobody's really perfect in that aspect. I think that's also like something that's good to remember.
Absolutely.
So like now going back to like the whole like social media thing, how do you think social media has kind of affected the way people like think about themselves, or like how do you think it's affected like people like finding who they truly are? Because I feel like it kind of has changed like everything in this world.
I completely agree with that. I think it really impacts young people in a way that maybe some other people don't realize. And I kind of always counted myself out of that group when I was younger. I was like, no, I don't care what people think about my Instagram posts. Like, I'll just post whatever, blah, 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 blah. But then later down the line, hindsight is always 20/20. I look back on it and I realized that I did care so much. And by putting all this energy into not caring, it was still a form of caring. So it has really affected me. And I went through a long period of trying super hard to fit into a specific aesthetic and like craft this image of myself, not necessarily for anybody else, but for myself. But again, that's still like a form of really caring about perception. And I just like, I got to this point where I was super tired of it. And that's what helped me not care, actually. But it's hard. I mean, everybody wants to seem like they have a perfect life and only post the photos that they actually look good in and whatever. And like, I think it'll always be a little bit in the back of your head. But I don't know. I love the trend of photo dumps and things like that, because I feel like it gets people to feel a little bit more comfortable with posting those more casual moments instead of like the highlight reel of their lives. So like if you look at my Instagram page, I barely post, but when I do, it's like a cute little photo dump of just my life as it is, and none of these like crazy things that I've edited or put together in a perfect way, because that's what makes me feel most comfortable. And getting that out into like whatever public eye, or even if it's just your friends, like I think it is a way of just feeling okay with like those tiny little imperfect moments.
I agree. I think that like although social media has changed, I feel like the way that a lot of people like live, which is kind of crazy, I think that the past like couple years also there have been people on social media that have made like a really positive impact on like people, and they've kind of like changed the way that everybody thinks. Because even like you were saying on Instagram used to be like super polished, like edited photos,
so
that's it, like literally that's it. But now everybody's like, I don't know, I feel like it's like becoming like a casual thing again, and literally just people wanting to share their lives. So I think that that's like really great for people, honestly, because I don't know, I feel like being a young person on social media and like seeing that is so hard when you're also trying to figure out like exactly who you are and who you are becoming. And like you have all these like different people, like I don't know, it still is hard. I feel like especially on TikTok, like people make videos of like, oh, this is how you can be, how to be pretty 101. I'm like,
how
guys,
to glow up.
I'm like, this has got to end at some point, because it really like messes with you, and you're like, okay, wait, but like one person saying I should do this and one person saying I should do that, and like you never really know like what to do now, because you're like, I don't know, somebody's telling me so many different things. So I think that like that's been really hard, I feel, for like a lot of like teens, which is kind of like so sad. So like what do you think would be like your best piece of advice to like step away from social media to like find yourself?
Oh my God, honestly, just delete it for a couple months. Like, I know it sounds really scary, and I hated the idea of that at first, because I was like, but so many, like, how am I going to stay in touch with all my friends, and I want to see what they're doing and whatnot. But I got to this point where I was so just like tired and fed up with social media, and like you're saying, just the constant stream of different opinions and different voices telling you what to do and what not to do. It just was too much for me, and it was like seriously taking a toll on my mental health. So I decided to just delete everything for like 3 months. I just logged out of my accounts. Like, you don't even have to delete the app, just log out, set a time limit for yourself of, okay, I'm going to do it for even just a week.
Yeah.
And just see how it feels. And what snapped me out of my social media habits was noticing that even when I didn't have the apps, I would go on my phone to do something else, like respond to an email, and I'd immediately go after to click on the Instagram app or click on TikTok, and it wasn't there. So I wouldn't go on it, and I wouldn't doom scroll, but I would catch myself clicking, and I realized that, like, I just had this habit of mindlessly going on it, and I think it's that disconnect with, like, you're not being mindful with your use of it. And if you are mindful and you're consuming content that actually makes you feel good, it can be an amazing thing. There are so many pros to social media too, but it's very easy to fall into that kind of like darker, negative, unhealthy side of it. And so I told myself I was only going to delete it for a week, and then it just kept going because it felt so nice to not have it, and it turned into like 3 months of not being on any social media apps. And it really just allowed me to not have to think about other people's opinions for the first time in a while, and just trust myself. And that feeling of being able to listen to your own voice and not have everybody else's drowning yours out is so incredible. And if you can get to a place where that is your everyday, then I think it's amazing. So just delete it.
That's honestly so like, that's so honestly inspiring, because it's like when TikTok got deleted, I had a realization, because when TikTok got banned, that night, I must have opened it 5 times, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is actually a problem, because it's fully gone, and I've tapped on it 5 times, not even thinking about it, because I know that it's banned. I know I can't go on it, but like,
your fingers
for some reason, every time I open my phone, I open social media. I'm like, this is an issue. So I'm like, that's honestly so inspiring. I feel like a lot of people I could benefit from that, honestly, because
I need to do it again.
I feel like it would like reset you in a way that literally,
it's such a reset.
You can't like do it any other way but literally to cut it off, because not even if you're not on like the complete negative side of social media or like having a hard time with it, like no matter what, it would be nice to have like a break from it all, because like you said, like you're always going to be thinking about other people's opinions, and you're going to be looking at the likes and the comments. Even when you don't realize, you're like checking, oh, who liked my post, or who commented this, or like you literally have no idea that it's even happening until like you take like a full reset. So I think that that's so true. Just delete it. Like literally just delete it.
And then also like when you don't have it, you start prioritizing other things. So I like got back into a bunch of my hobbies, like playing instruments and making art that I felt like I didn't have time for, but really that time was just taken up by being on my phone. Like I did have the time, I just wasn't making it. So when I eliminated that, I realized that like there's so many other things that felt so much more fulfilling to do. Even just being more present when you're with your friends, like not checking all those notifications, things like that. It really feels nice.
Yeah, I've been saying this because I was like, oh, I really like need to like start like reading more. Like I really want to like get back into reading. And I'm like, I just feel like I don't have time. And then the other day I was sitting at home and I was like, wait a second. I've been on my phone for an hour and I could have been reading a book.
Yeah, I'll do that. And I'm like, I could have just watched a full movie in that hour and a half that I was scrolling on TikTok. Why am I not doing that?
It's crazy. And I'm like, I really just think I need to get into the habit of like, okay, maybe I'll put like a screen time or something on my phone.
Okay, I tried that before I deleted it, and it didn't work because I just put the password in. And I had someone else like set the password, but I like, you could find ways around it. I'd be like, one more minute, which is that also I was like, that's
a little concerning.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
That's me when I'm going to bed, because I'm like, okay, let me just scroll on TikTok for 5 minutes. I'll watch 5 videos, and then I'm like, oh wait, but like, what's the next video? Because then I'm like,
what if I missed the best one ever?
Right? Yeah. I'm like, oh, then I'm like, it's an hour and I should be asleep. I'm like, this is not good. So I think that like everybody could benefit from a social media break for sure. I think that it should be like a thing. Like I think everybody should make it a thing that we all go off the grid for like a week.
Okay, when TikTok was banned, people were talking so much about that, even just in my personal circle of like, oh my gosh, wait, I love this because now there's no FOMO because nobody's posting on TikTok.
Exactly.
So, like, I'm not missing out on any of that content. And I feel like that's the biggest thing is people don't want to delete it because they're scared of what they're missing out on. And, like, memes come and go so quickly. Trends cycle through so quickly. So, like, if you're off for a month, you've missed so many things that people are not going to be saying in your life that you won't understand. And, like, I get that that's scary. You don't want to be out of the loop. Yeah. But, like, if everybody said, I'm going to delete it this week, let's all delete it, I think it would be great.
That would be so great. I think that we should start it because it would be so nice. But, again, it's the FOMO. Like, you don't want to miss out. Because it's, like, even with Snapchat, I feel like that's been, like, such a big thing. Like, I'm like, okay, I feel like it's time for me to mature and be a text message person instead of a Snapchat person. But I'm like, wait, but then, like, all my friends' private stories, and, like, I'm gonna miss out on it. I know,
it's just the private stories. I don't even care about snapping people. I just want to, it's honestly just my sister's private story. Like, I just want to see her little things.
There's always one thing, because I'm like, I want to keep up with what everybody's doing, but I'm like, I don't know, I think that it also gets to a point where you're like, okay, I need to, like, prioritize myself and, like, what's better for me versus, like, worrying about, like, catching up with everyone else, because, like, you're going to know what's going on in your friend's life, whether or not you have social media.
The people that are really in your life, this goes both ways. You'll know what's going on in their lives if you're not on the app and not seeing their posts. And also, what I always tell myself with, like, making sure that I'm fine with not posting all the time and not feeling that pressure that I put on myself. I'm like, the people that are in my life, they will know. Yeah. I don't need to be updating constantly. Like, and the big important things, like, those will be shared eventually.
Exactly.
Like, anything that is actually important will get out there. I don't need to be posting, like, a photo of my smoothie every single day or something like that. Like, it's okay. I can live without it for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think that that's honestly so huge, is, like, realizing that, like, the people in your life are going to know what's going on, whether you have Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or not. So I think that, like, prioritizing yourself over, like, worrying about, like, other people knowing what's going on in your life is so huge. Yeah. Okay, so now, like, thinking about prioritizing yourself, what do you think have been, like, the biggest things in your life that have kind of helped you find yourself, other than, like, obviously acting and, like, everything and, like, I guess your, like, work, like, more like a personal, like, hobby or, like, stuff that have helped you, like, find yourself?
Yeah, I think, well, okay, honestly, friends and family, I feel like being around people that you really care about and really admire, like we talked about before, that is also kind of a way to figure out who you want to be and also just who you are. Like, when you're around people that you feel really comfortable with, the natural version of yourself will come out. Yeah. And, like, over time, if you surround yourself with more and more and more people that you feel comfortable with, you'll get even more confident in that version of yourself instead of feeling like you have to hide or diminish any personality trait that you're, like, maybe a little bit self-conscious about. So that's something that takes a lot of time to build for sure, but that over the years has helped me figure out the version of myself that I, like, both want to be and am. But also, like, you kind of started saying it, a lot of other creative hobbies aside from acting that I kind of keep just as a more personal thing. Like, I play the guitar and the piano, and I used to share that online a lot, like, during COVID when I was doing it every single day and all that stuff. And then it kind of just turned more into, like, this is just a thing for me. And even though I don't practice it every day anymore, when I do, it's such a nice brain break where I know it's something that I can turn to, and it's just a complete emotional outlet. And I don't have the pressure of having to share it with anybody else. I'm not in a band. I don't have to, like, post videos of it online. It's just for me. I'll sit in my bedroom for a couple hours, play my guitar, learn a couple songs, and, like, I just get to turn everything else off. The rest of the world melts away. So I think hobbies are really important. And again, we talked about this a little bit before, but they're sometimes the first thing to go when you have other things on your plate. But I think in the same way that people carve out time to go to the gym or get enough sleep, like, you really need to carve out some time for your hobbies because all those little outlets are going to help you feel more like yourself.
Yeah, 100%. That's been something that I've been, like, my goal for this year is, like, to really, like, get back into, like, the hobbies that are literally just for me, just for fun. Because it's, like, when I was younger, I was, like, a huge arts and crafts girl, and, like, I've always been like that. But as I've gotten older and as I've been, like, prioritizing, like, my career and, like, stuff like that, I've like been like, okay, like, yeah, I can go and, like, paint for, like, a couple hours, but, like, should I be doing something else to, like more like a work thing and, like, more productive? But I'm like, at the same time, like, you're not going to be able to be the best version of yourself in the, like, important aspects of your life if you're not, like, fully giving the time to yourself. Yeah. And, like, yes, like, although, like, I love to act, I love to sing, I love to dance, like it's still not the same as like doing a hobby, literally a mindless thing. Like like obviously all those things fulfill me so much, but like not in the same way that like doing something that literally has no pressure on does. So I think that like something I've been working on is like, yes, obviously like it's very important to do like the productive things for like my career, but also like productive things for like your mind is so huge.
They're so productive in another way, which I feel like is something like me included, a lot of people struggle with, is that idea of like, oh, but painting or watching a movie or playing an instrument, like it's unproductive. I don't have the time to do it, but it is still productive. Yeah. You need to give your mind a break. You need to give your soul a little bit of that nourishment. Like you need to do other creative things that fulfill you that don't have that same pressure. And like it is still productive. Give 100%. Yourself the time to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Because if not, you're going to get burnt out of what you're doing because you're like, all I do is do ABC and like it's just like it's like a routine every day and that's all I do and I never have time to hang out with my friends or I never have time to like just be by myself and like whatever. So you have to like, you have to make the time for it. And I think that that's something that like I think I need to work on for sure. But like when I do, like literally yesterday I went to Color Me Mine. And I was like,
so fun.
Wait, I just spent like 3 hours painting a mug. And this was the greatest thing. I painted like a little Harry Styles mug. And I'm so excited to get it back.
I need a photo of that one.
It's like done. The keep driving. So I put like the maple syrup, pancake,
so
whatever.
Cute.
It's so cute. And I'm so excited. I was like, this was so nice. Like I literally just sat here with 3 of my friends and painted a mug for 3 hours. And now I feel great. And I can go on with the rest of my day because I feel good. And it's just like, I don't know, I think that that's so important. And even like we're talking about like the school and like the balancing of like literally everything, finding time for yourself is so huge. Also so huge in like finding out who you are as well. Like it doesn't just have to be like a career path to figure it out. Like I think that like the little things also help you for sure. So like obviously like we're all still working on figuring out who we are, and I think we probably always will be. But like, what do you think like being true to yourself really looks like for you in your everyday life, and how do you express that?
Ooh, I think I've gotten to this place where I express it in a lot of different ways, and also it changes depending on the day. But some days, like today, for example, I'll express myself with like an outfit that I feel really aligns with my personality at the moment, or just like my mood for the day. So I'll go with something like cute and flowy and fun or whatever. And that's like, I also consider that kind of a creative outlet, like putting together a really cute outfit that you feel like expresses a certain vision that you have. And again, hanging out with people that you feel really comfortable with, just giving yourself the space to be weird, like say funny jokes, do whatever, relax, not have to put on a certain version or persona. That really helps me just feel more like myself. And also alone time. I, especially in college, have gotten into this place where like I'll just be going either with school or work or something else, and like any of my free time I'll fill with socialization. But then, and like I'm an outgoing person. I love socializing. It's not like it totally drains my social battery, especially being around people that I feel like I can be myself with. It uplifts me, one might say. But at the same time, I do need alone time. And I think everybody does. And in the same way that you need to make time for your hobbies, everything else, you need to make time to just like sit with yourself, sit with your thoughts, like really just reflect and not have the pressure to do anything at all.
Yeah, it's huge. And like I am an only child, so I know alone time, like she's my girl. Like I don't know, and I think that that's something that's been like so important for me, and like I just love being by myself sometimes. It really just like resets me, and I'm just like, it's just so great. And I feel like it's something that people are very scared of, and like spending time by themselves, people literally are terrified
they hate
of it.
it.
And I'm like, wait, I love it though.
It's amazing.
I'm like, I love it. And like I feel like when you fully learn to love to spend time with yourself, by yourself, it changes everything. Like it literally changes everything, because like it's something that I fully need. Like I need the time to like just be quiet and me just be like by myself, literally doing nothing. Like it's just like, and I think everybody, like you said, everybody needs it. And like once you like learn to love it, it changes everything for you, and it makes everything in your life so much better.
Yes, I saw something a couple years ago again, like on TikTok. But it said the only person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with is yourself. So you need to love yourself. And I saw it and it like actually shook me to my core because like you have to spend every waking moment with yourself. You're only in your mind. Like yes, you're just with yourself, but that thing of not having a choice about loving yourself, like you just have to. You are you. There is no way around that. You have to love that. And like yes, it takes time to find yourself, come into yourself, like be confident about that, but just embrace it. Like don't make it an option, because if you give yourself that space to have all those negative voices in your head and say things that like if someone else said would make you not want to be friends with them, like all those really mean things, if you just shut that down and you're like, nope, I have to love myself, like you're saying, it makes everything else so much easier.
Yeah, for sure. So like obviously this podcast has been very based off of like advice and like wanting to like let people know that they're not alone. So like a lot of people struggle with the self-love aspect of life, and I feel like it's something that like everybody kind of will always struggle with, but you know, some people obviously more than others. So like what would be your biggest advice to someone that's really just like trying to learn to love who they are, and like how do you just like embrace yourself? It's
really
such a hard question. Such a hard question. I actually don't know how I would answer it.
And
so I'm like,
I also feel like there are so many ways to do it, and it is something like, you know about love languages, right? So I feel like a lot of people think about that in the sense of other people loving them, but I also feel like you can use that to learn how to love yourself. Like if you like physical touch, like have a spa day with yourself, and that's like a hard reset. Or words of affirmation, like write things on your mirror to look at every single day, and like all those little reminders will just like uplift you more and more and more. But I feel like the way that I try to think about this concept is like how I'm kind of already saying it, but like how would I want to be loved by other people? And those voices in your head that say really mean things, like again, if someone else said them to you, you'd be really offended. So why are you out here saying them to yourself?
That's
like
so true.
You need to talk to yourself like you would if you were a third person that like loved who you are. And I'm very lucky to be surrounded by friends that like are really incredible and sweet and loving, and we tell each other how much we love each other all the time, and like we're always complimenting each other and uplifting each other. So when I get into that mode of being really weird and down on myself, I think about them, and I'm like, well, okay, but like those people that I love me, so that means like I have to be at least kind of a good person, right? So I don't know, again, just like reframing the thoughts, because they're always going to be there. But
for sure.
If you can put it into a different perspective, I think it really helps.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's like, obviously it's hard and everybody struggles with it, but that's honestly a really good way to look at it, because I've never thought about it like that. And I actually haven't heard many people say that. And I'm like, wait, that kind of like, just like kind of clicked for me, because I think that it is like so hard. And like growing up in like the dance environment, it is very hard.
It's
and like
really
that,
harsh.
like the competitive world, it was hard. And I never really like, this is going to sound so like whatever, but like I never really like thought about the concept of like self-love too deeply until I got like a little bit like older.
Yeah.
So it's like still something that, you know, like I'm learning, and I'm like, I need to like
Same.
learn to like reflect on myself. And like I feel like I've been like huge with like journaling recently, and like that's been so helpful to me. So I think like finding like different little things like that is also like super huge.
I feel like I love journaling, but I always put this pressure on myself to do it every day, and then I don't, and then I feel like I've fallen short with my own goal, which just feels horrible.
Yeah.
So I feel like making it a smaller concept, like self-love is such a huge thing, but if you can make it a tiny little thing of like, okay, well, maybe self-love is buying myself an iced vanilla latte today. Like, that's self-love. Or going out and like watching the sunset alone. That's self-love too. It doesn't need to be these like huge radicalized things.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I do the same thing, especially with journaling. I'll be like 3 days in and I'm like, yes, I do it every single day. And then I'm like, oh, I forget. But like, yeah, I think that making it a smaller thing is definitely like a really good piece of advice for literally anyone. So now, just saying on the advice concept, I have this little thing that I do at the end of this podcast called Dear Presley, where I created this place where people can come and like ask questions or just like talk about anything that's going on in their life, and I'll try to do my best to give advice on what I would do, or like obviously when I have a guest, like get their opinion on it as well. So I have one today that I thought we could read and maybe give our advice. It says, recently I've been struggling with comparing myself with others around me, especially what my other friends wear, what they have, and just everything going on. This took such a draining on me that I don't even want to go to school anymore. I feel like everyone has great friends and they all seem so happy, while I don't feel like I have anyone or really anything. Especially when making friends, I've been struggling because it's so hard for me to speak up. She goes, I would really love if you could talk about this because it's been so draining for me just to see what others have and what I don't.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is such a difficult thing. And I've definitely been in this place before. I'm trying to think back to like literally also like middle school. Everything felt so big. And like if you don't have something, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's so hard to take action on such big things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like being unhappy with your friend group. You can't just drop all your friends. Like everybody says like, oh, get new friends, whatever, but you can't just do that. It takes a lot of time. And I feel like the first thing that's coming to mind to say right now is just like keep reminding yourself that things do change.
Mm-hmm.
I do this a lot where I'll look back on my life. Like I'm 19 now. So I'll think, oh my gosh, how much has changed in the past 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
From 9 to 19. That is
so
a lot of stuff that I've been through, a
Yeah.
lot of different friends that I've been with. And then you can even make it smaller. How much has changed in the past year?
Mm-hmm.
So much still. So like when you get really stuck in that place of being unhappy with where you are, just try to think in the future. Don't dwell on it, but try to think like, I wonder where I'll be in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder what small changes I can make leading up to that year point that will just slowly feel better and better and better. And like on a day-to-day basis, it might not look that different, but then eventually it will be drastically different. And you'll love the life you have all of a sudden.
100%. I literally was saying this yesterday. I was like, this past like even like year and a half, so much has changed that it makes me so excited for the next like year or 2 years or like 5 years. And like I can't even imagine like what life is going to look like because I would have never thought like a year ago that my life would look the way it looks right now.
Exactly.
So I 100% agree with you saying like do like small little things because the small habits, I just started reading Atomic Habits and it's so good. But like the small habits literally turn into big habits that turn into life-changing things that you just like would never even think of. Yeah. So I think just like realizing that your life is going to always change and it's never going to look the way that it looks now. So also embrace that because it's never going to be the same as it is right now. So like embrace where you are, but also know that things are going to change. So just try and be the best version of yourself right now, I think. And just like, it'll all like, I always think like it'll all fall into place. Like at some point, everything's just, it's always going to, like, I just think it's always going to work out and things are always going to fall into place. So just try and be the best version of yourself so you're ready for when it all kind of happens, you know? So that's what I think. And I don't know. This was so great. I learned so much from you.
Oh, this was so fun.
Like, I'm so glad that we did this. And I think that people listening to this are really going to love the advice that you give. And I'm like learning from you too. Because I'm like,
thanks.
wait, you're so like, yes, like I agree with everything that you're saying. So I'm so glad that you could do this. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to tell everyone where they can find you on social media for those little photo dumps that we're talking about.
Oh my God, of course. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Shay Rudolph.
Yay, perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for listening and watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.